for listening to Episode 1 of the Cars Can Be Blue podcast, Bicker is Better. On this episode, we will be talking to Eric Hernandez about how he got involved with Happy Birthday to Me Records. We will also be talking to Eric about his diagnosis with diabetes type 1.5. The music of this podcast is provided by Eric's Cuban salsa-style Misfits cover band, Los Meesfits. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show.
Cars Can Be Blue podcast. Bicker is Better. First episode. I'm Nate.
I'm Becky. I am the guitarist and singer for Cars Can Be Blue.
Hello, I'm Jeremy, and I play the bass.
I'm Eric, and I'm not in Cars Can Be Blue.
All right, I was going to introduce you, Eric. We're going to get up to that. You kind of jumped the gun on getting in the mix here, but... All right, anyway, our special guest today is Eric Hernandez. Plays a pivotal role in the history of Cars Can Be Blue, the band. He was the one who actually bankrolled our first album.
Make It Rain shitty music.
He's been involved with the record label that puts out our crap. Happy Birthday to Me, although less so these days, but has always been around. Has definitely played a important role in our lives in many ways.
Aww.
Let's welcome you to the program.
Yay!
Right.
I feel very welcome. Thank you.
Dog.
And Eric is also in a band, Los Meesfits.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to talk to Eric. Eric's got a lot of good stories and has kind of got a lot of personal misfortune. So much so that basically, if you look at Cars Can Be Blue, the band, before we met Eric, our really bad luck in life didn't really start until we met you. And there's a dark cloud that hangs over Eric's life. And before we met him, it's not like we came along and everything just went to hell. No, it's you've survived car accidents, disease. Life keeps just piling misfortune upon you in various ways.
Well,
we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah, I want to talk about one of those stories.
Should probably mention that Eric grew up in Panama City Beach, Florida. There's going to be a lot of stories about
Is that
wild...
the asshole of Florida? Is that the one that people call the asshole of Florida?
It's more like...
My mom just moved to Panama City about 3 months ago.
Oh, really? Have you called her recently? Is she okay?
She's living outside of the city.
Tell her to stay away from Spinnaker and La Vila. But, if you look at a map of Florida, Panama City is located where the base of the penis would be.
Oh.
So, it's that area between the balls.
So it's where,
and the dick.
if you put your finger on it.
It's where the schmegma collects.
Okay.
I think that's a good allegory for that area. I don't know. First, let's kind of set up how you kind of got involved with the record label, or basically, how you fell in with us as a band, and start there.
I've known Mike Turner almost all my life. We went to the same.
We
high
should
school
probably
together.
mention for those,
Right,
that
Mike
don't
Turner
know
is the
CEO of Happy
proprietor,
Birthday, HHBTM Records.
Pours all his love, sweat, and money into Happy Birthday to Me Records. Yeah, that guy. So I've known him since high school.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the same high school, and we had a lot of the same friends. And Panama City is kind of a weird place.
So
everybody kind of hates each other. So luckily, me and Mike didn't know each other till after high school. So we never got to hate each other. And so all our mutual friends would talk shit about us to each other. And I'm like, wow, this Mike guy sounds like a real asshole. And then he would hear shit about me and be like, oh, this Eric guy sounds like a real dick. So then, apart from everybody else, we decided to become friends, and we were like, wow, you're really cool anyway. And so then, we never really became best friends until years down the road. I was living in Panama City for the third time, I think it was. I was kind of looking for a reason to get out of Panama City, as most people do. And so me and Mike became best friends. We took a Lucky Bass on tour.
Japanese band, pop band.
Wait, when was that?
That was 2001, 2002-ish, somewhere around there.
I didn't realize
we went on tour with Montreal.
They came here that early, Lucky Bass.
Yeah, this was the second time they came back. The first time, I don't remember if they toured with Of Montreal or something like that. So then this time, Of Montreal wanted them to support them on a tour. So me and Mike teamed up. We lied to my dad and stole his van, which coincidentally, he had bought from a guy who was best friends with Chuck Norris. So
not the kind of guy you want to steal a van from.
Yeah, and when we got the van, when my dad got the van, it was filled with all kinds of karate kung fu stuff.
Oh,
like,
wow.
There was
Like
like
nunchucks
sais
and-
and shadow
oh, whoa.
boxes and nunchucks and like certificates and black belts and stuff. So we knew the guy wasn't lying because there was pictures of Chuck Norris in there. So
Yeah.
we would tell everybody that Chuck Norris may or may not have been in this van. So I told my dad I'm helping a friend move, and then we took his van all the way up to Chicago and back. Then I told him afterwards, like, well, I did help him move from state to state
Yeah.
all the way up to Chicago. And then my dad was kind of pissed, but then he was like, did it run okay? I was like, yeah, it did pretty good in the snow and everything. You know,
All
He was
right.
kind of proud of his van.
That sounds
But
like-
anyway, so
Yeah.
so we became best friends, and I would help Mike out on various things.
Did a lot of label,
Yeah, label
graphic
affiliated
design
stuff, graphic
stuff.
design stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of graphic design stuff.
Mike was sort of the face, and you were the behind the scenes
Yeah, I
guy
was the
for a
Styles.
while.
He was Wolfman, I was Styles. And so,
Just spit a little bit of my drink.
so eventually we moved to Athens. I don't remember if it was right after we moved here or right before we moved here. He was telling me about you guys, and he was like, "These guys are awesome. You should listen to it." And
Wow.
so then I heard it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." And so then he was like, "Well, I don't know if I have enough money to put this out right now." I was like, "No, we got to do it. We got to put it out." I had
You cashed in a bond or something, right?
I had some stock that I cashed in. I used to work for Sally Mae, and the only reason I worked there is because they had this stock purchase plan.
I thought it was for the
We're
cocoa
like-
butter discount.
So like through my stock purchase plan, I came under quite a bit of money. I got fired, by the way, because of.
It was like a
Because you
severance
bankrolled
package.
us? Or
No.
You played the
It wasn't your
album for
fault.
your
Yeah.
career.
I was buying tickets for Busch Gardens for me, Mike, Leslie, and my girlfriend at the time.
Stupid reason to get by.
And I hung up on somebody's call that was calling in to like pay their student loan, or I don't even know what they were calling about.
Oh.
But I was the only person on Spanish split, so I was like, I don't got time for this. So
Like, I
hung
got
up on-
tickets to buy.
I gotta buy tickets, and so I got caught. I was like, I don't fucking care. My stock options
Oh, no.
invested. So happy
What if-
trails.
What if that girl like listens to this and she's gonna be like, "That's
Well.
the guy who hung up on me and I defaulted on my loans. My life is over."
Over some
Yeah, you
fucking
ruined
Busch
somebody's
Gardens?
life there.
If it's any consolation, the Montu's really fun.
Eric
It's a
says it
great
was worth
ride.
it.
Totally worth it.
So there's where the bankroll came from for the first Cars Can Be Blue album, all the stuff we do. So yeah, I guess.
So
I guess
Sally Mae funded you, really?
Yeah, Sally
In a
Mae,
way.
actually.
Thanks to Sally Mae, you had a record
Sally Mae
come
Beauty
out,
Supply.
which
Wait, why did you say Sally Mae Beauty Supply?
Oh, isn't that
I
what
think
it
you're
is?
thinking
No,
of
that's a
Sally
different
Beauty
Sally
Supply.
Mae. Oh,
Sally
jeez.
Mae is the company that is
Yeah.
behind like student loans. And
My
stuff.
cocoa butter comment didn't make any sense.
I was wondering what the hell you meant by
I was
that.
wondering you worked for Sally Beauty Supply, like
No.
like, selling like hair straightener and stuff.
Didn't Sally Mae was like in the news too? Because didn't they got in trouble for something?
Oh, is it one of
Yeah.
They-
Freddie Mae, Fannie Mac?
Was
Fannie
it?
Mae.
Yeah,
There's
like-
Fannie
You know what I
Mae.
meant.
There's Fannie Mae, Freddie Mae, Nellie Mae, Sally Mae, and there might be another. Maybe May May.
Ponzi scheme going on. Or something?
I don't know. I can't remember. I just thought I remembered hearing something about them, like doing something bad, funding our band. I don't know.
So Eric's still doing graphic design. Just in the last few years, I feel like Eric's really come into his own. There's a conceptual musical idea that he had a while back, and it was something that got threatened a lot but never actualized. And that was to do a Misfits cover band with the lyrics translated into Spanish and in the style of Cuban salsa. I should probably also point out that Eric is of Cuban American descent. You were born here, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I was born in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The
so-
story gets weirder.
Yeah.
I openly admit very
Did you
often,
live
but-
there long? I didn't know that.
Till I was like 10.
Oh, whoa, shit.
Yeah.
But your parents came over.
Long enough to get
Cuba
some street
and-
cred.
Yeah.
Then I moved to the woods in Florida, and then all went to shit.
So, yeah, Eric had the brilliant concept of combining the music of the Misfits with a salsa-infused...
But didn't actually happen,
Bass.
right? Until Mike Turner like make a poster and he was like, "Okay, you have a show in a
Yeah,
month,"
yeah,
and then
like,
like,
show.
better
He's like,
find some band members.
figure it the fuck out.
He put the
Yeah.
he put the fire underneath your keister to
Yeah.
get it accomplished, and here you are. Like,
It
it's
worked,
been what
yeah.
3-4 years?
Yeah, something like that. I lost count.
So
Over
I-
3 years.
I
Every
want
day's
to
a
hear
gift.
this story about people getting mad about the way the lyrics were translated
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
This is a good story.
Yeah, so, a lot of times, a lot of Hispanics mostly don't really know who the Misfits are. In fact, there are people in my band who don't know who the Misfits are. They
Really?
just really like salsa, and they're like, this is fun, whatever.
Huh.
So, like, we played this show at Casa Mia, I think it was. It was like an Athens Latin rock night. And so like they wanted rock bands. Even though we play salsa, they think we're a rock band because, you know, people kind of assume that we're a rock band, I guess, because of the Misfits connection.
Yeah.
But a lot of them didn't really know who the Misfits were, so we go and play this rock show thinking that, oh, you know, there'll be some Mexican punks there who are into it or whatever. But most of the kids there were into No Doubt, and like all the other bands did No Doubt covers and weird shit like that. And so we went up and did our thing, and most of them don't know who the Misfits are, so I'm sitting there saying things like,
I raped your mother today.
Yeah, I think that's really the one that really got a lot of people.
I think that might have
like,
might have got some hackles.
Y no me importa a mí mientras que está abierta, which means like doesn't matter much to me as long as she's spread, basically. So like they're all kind of folding their arms and staring at me.
Mean mugging you?
I'm kind of oblivious to it.
Was it okay up until this point?
It was never okay.
Okay.
I think. To me, I'm just like having fun on stage, clowning around, goofing, and just having fun doing my thing.
But
and then I get off
there was a
stage,
point.
we start loading our stuff out. You know, usually people are like, oh, that was great. But nobody's really saying much to us. There was nobody in the front paying attention to us at all. Everybody kind of moved back. And then when we start loading our stuff up, people are like slamming the door in our face, being really rude to us. We were like, what the fuck? It's kind of weird. So then finally we kind of figured out that, oh, these guys don't know the Misfits, and I just told them I'm going to rape their mother today and kill their baby. And so they're like all looking at me like, where the fuck does he get off?
Yeah.
So we just didn't even ask if we get paid or anything. We just kind of like, we should probably get the fuck out of here.
You should have been like, no, it's not us that want to rape your mother. It's like we're just.
It's some guys in New Jersey that want to rape your mother.
We're the messenger. Yeah.
We're just bringing it to your community now.
So is that the only time that's happened, or does that happen frequently?
That's probably the worst. There's been other times where we played the Latin Festival downtown.
Yeah, I was going to ask if things went awry at that.
Yeah, kind of. We were following a Christian Spanish band, and it was Spanish Christian rock.
Uh-oh.
Jesus.
So like
mistake.
They kind of figured out what we were before we went on, and we had asked them if we could borrow one of their chairs, and they told my drummer that, I'm sorry, I can't let you use that chair because you're not a Christian band.
What?
And so,
That's before you even played?
that's before we even played. We were setting up,
bitches?
and we were like,
they know
oh,
at that
okay.
point?
So then, like, I kind of got cocky and said a few things on stage about, oh, okay, use Jesus' chair or whatever. I think a couple people got a little offended, so we weren't asked to come back after that.
Los Meesfits, do you have stuff out there on the internet that people can listen to?
We've got a YouTube channel.
All right, that'll work. They're a pretty good visual band.
Yeah.
You'll want to watch those videos.
Do you guys do the videos yourselves?
Oh, we just
I think it's
have
just
live
live
videos.
stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
We haven't done any music videos yet. Although I want to. I've got my eyes on this Mexican wrestler that wrestles up in Gainesville.
Oh, nice.
He's one of the undead luchadors. His name's Supernatural, if you're listening, sir. And so I'd like to do something with him because he's really cool looking.
Undead luchador.
He tried to eat my hair last time I saw him.
Nice. We're getting low on tape here. I just want to say this for this first podcast, it's being recorded on a Tascam cassette 4-track. We're keeping it analog. Tonight, I might switch to tape number 2 here. So
Oh, really?
let's take a break.
All right, we're gonna try to play a game called Two Truths.
Oh, right
and
now?
Yeah, we're gonna try to play a game called Two Truths and One Lie. And what's gonna happen is everyone's gonna go around and I'm gonna say 2 true things about myself and 1 lie, and then you guys have to figure out which thing is the lie. So here are my 3 things. 1, I have a small piece of metal embedded in my lower heel. 2, I can recite all of Terminator 2. 3, I love cleaning my ears.
Are we allowed to probe further?
You can discuss amongst
I
yourselves.
thought you were just supposed to guess which one was a lie.
Yeah, you.
Well, I know which one is.
You ain't got no metal in your heel.
I thought this
fuck.
was.
All right, that
was on the piece. So.
Jeremy, what are your 3
All right.
things?
One time I got in a fight with a midget. I set the flower arrangements on fire at my dad's second wedding, and me and my friend both outran a cop at the same time in 2 separate vehicles.
That third one's the lie.
I think it's the first one.
I don't know. I think it might be the first one. I don't even know this. Like, there's so many crazy stories.
That's good. They're all so specific.
Yeah.
I try to get them crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably accidentally set flowers on fire, and you probably did something stupid where you're running from the cops. And what was the first one again?
One time I got in a fight with a midget.
Oh, see, I just don't think
That
you'd be
just
that much of a
sounds
jerk.
too fake, but knowing you, it might be.
Well, do you mean like a fist fight?
I mean like a fight with a midget.
like yelling
think-
or
I
hitting?
think
that
that
one's
one's
not
a
as
full-on
specific.
fight.
That's
Yeah.
the lie.
Full-on fight.
All the other ones are so specific,
See,
but that one leaves room for question.
You
And
know,
I don't know
don't
any
feel
midgets,
bad if that's
let alone
true.
any that I would fight.
There is one midget in town. I've seen her.
All right, I'm gonna.
But you haven't fought her yet.
All right,
I'm gonna say
I'm-
that's the lie.
Yeah,
You
I'm gonna
guys go
say
with a
that's
midget?
yeah,
Yeah.
midget.
Yeah, I've never fought a midget.
Yeah.
I would not fight a midget because I'm too scared of midgets. They're probably like ants and have super strength.
I
So you
think
wouldn't fight back.
The proper term is little people. Isn't that
I don't know.
All right.
Dwarves.
Fucking midget.
We just lost all our midget listeners.
No, I totally.
Little people listeners, I'm sorry.
I pulled out in front of a cop while trying to follow my friend somewhere, and then he pulled off the road immediately and was honking like, "Come on, let's go." Because we saw the cop doing a U-turn, putting the flashers on, and we went through all the alleys in Albany and got away from the cop somehow in 2 cars.
That's amazing.
Is there a warrant out for your arrest in Albany?
Probably.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
First, my dad was accused of being the head of the Mexican mafia. Second, I've never been arrested for indecent exposure or stealing a car. Third, my brother was almost killed at a strip club and then had to hide out at my house for a month.
Fuck y'all.
Dang. It's got to be the third one because I know the first 2 are true or whatever.
Wait,
like,
do
those
you?
are those are true.
I feel like the
Are
first
they?
one has. If was it your
Wait, do you
dad who
know
was
the
really good
first
friends
one?
with Chuck Norris?
No, it was my dad's friend who was really good
Okay.
friends.
Do you know
Yeah.
for a fact the first 2 are true? Because I would say the
You
first
want me to
one's
repeat them
fake.
again?
Yeah.
My
I
dad's
think
been
the first-
accused of being the head of the Mexican mafia. I've never been arrested for indecent exposure or stealing a car. And my brother was almost killed at a strip club and had to hide out in Athens for a couple of months.
I think the first one's not true.
I almost want to say that he probably hasn't got arrested for indecent exposure because he's from Panama City and nobody actually gets arrested from there for that. That's kind of the thing you do there.
I know,
But he
Eric.
was in Jersey for 10 years. Maybe he was fucking had his 10-year-old wiener out somewhere.
Jersey, he
I
was
know the
totally
indecent
wiener out stealing
exposure
cars
thing.
in Jersey.
Yeah.
Eric's told me the
That's
story
why he had to
behind that
leave.
one.
He's banned from
So
Jersey.
it's got to be either the strip
gotta
club
be the
one
strip
or
club.
that I can't remember if it's his dad that was accused of or another family member. It might be like an uncle or something. But I know that's in there. But I think he
Okay,
like,
so
did
you
a trick.
think the brother one's not true?
I think the brother one because I've never heard
Okay,
him talk
I'm gonna
about
go
that
with that.
one.
Yeah, let's say the.
I'm going to go with his father and think that maybe it was a different family member than his father.
All right, which one's not true?
The second one. I have been arrested for indecent exposure and stealing a car.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
I said I haven't, but I
Oh.
have. Yeah, I have been arrested for both those things.
Wait, at the same.
occasions, not
Okay.
at the same time.
So
I
where
was-
where
I
did
wasn't
you steal a
stealing
car
car. I was 15 and I stole my dad's car.
Man, you're always stealing his vehicle for stuff.
Yeah. we used to steal cars like every day during the summer, and then we'd take turns on whose parents' car we were gonna steal that day.
So it was just your parents'
we
car.
only got
you
caught
weren't, like-
once, even though we did it over 100
But
times.
you got caught
probably.
for stealing your dad's? Like, were charges
Yeah.
pressed for you have...
Well, I was arrested because all my friends' parents woke up and came and got them, but my dad didn't wake up, so they put me in a holding cell for a day. My dad had to get a ride to go pick me. No, but yeah.
Yeah, who comes to bail you out when you've stolen your parents' car?
Yeah, but my dad was accused of being head of the Mexican mafia. It was actually in the local paper and everything. There was this
even
reporter.
Though he's Cuban?
Yeah, that's my dad said. He was like, I'm not even fucking Mexican. God, I'm sick of
People
people
are like, but
saying
you're
it.
brown.
You know, all my life people have been saying I'm Mexican too, so I know exactly how he feels.
Yeah.
It was in the local papers. A reporter was like stalking my family.
That's
They would
fucking
call
crazy.
me and my brothers and like try to get information from us, and we're like, no, leave us alone.
Oh my
So
God,
like, yeah,
that's
it was really
fucking
weird.
nuts.
And my brother was almost killed at a strip club. He was selling weed and he was selling to the wrong people, and then he encroached on someone's territory, so they sent somebody after him at a strip club, and then he kind of got scared and had to come up here and stay with me for a while
Oh,
until all that
Jesus.
blew over.
Jesus fucking Christ, that's nuts.
Panama City's a great place.
I found a short story one time when I was like 6 years old that my dad had written about when he got robbed at a strip club. And I remember like finding it when I was 6 because I was like, what the hell is this story about titties hanging out? And, like, it was just, like, he had like a full like 2-paragraph description of people's titties at the strip
Dear
club.
Penthouse Forum.
Yeah.
And I was like 6 years old. Didn't find out that it was an actual story of my dad's till like 3 or 4 years ago.
Did it instill a love of reading that you still have today? All right, Nate, what
All
do you
right,
got?
I've personally met Michael Bolton. My personal record for ejaculating via beating off is 9 times in one day.
I believe that.
And from 4th grade to 8th grade, I took home top honors in the science fair every year. Every year we'd have a science fair, and I
You
would.
did not meet Michael Bolton.
All right, so that's what Jeremy says. Jeremy says Michael Bolton is a bunch of BS.
I mean, I know
He
you.
got that science award, and he was jacking off like a.
I
like
mean,
a ball.
yeah, like that's
Was
the
that
thing.
one
It's
of the
like
experiments?
I'm pretty
How many
sure.
times can your penis withstand
I'm
ejaculation?
pretty sure, like, I remember a story about him having sex a lot or like jerking off a lot till like where it hurt or
I know
something.
for a
like,
while you did not
like-
have a TV in that house at all.
Or tissues.
What happened?
So I think the second one is true. First one was
First one was that he met Michael Bolton.
oh God,
Shook
I
his
don't
hand.
know.
The
I don't
third
know that
one was
might be
getting
true.
a science award.
I think the science award thing probably.
I won the
isn't true.
spelling bee
But
in
only be-
elementary school. If I won the spelling bee,
Yeah, but
he got
Nate
some
Nate
science
fucking
awards.
sucks at math, and like sometimes I wonder about
How
his
good
common
is he at
sense. So
folding
like,
paper airplanes.
Well-
I'm gonna say the second one is not true.
I'm gonna say that I'm.
Because
Gonna
I think
say,
after 6 times, there's just no ejaculate left.
Oh, man.
And
He
you're
could've-
just beating
he
a dead
could've-
horse.
All right.
Well, he said a
I'm gonna
day, so I
say-
think we're talking about a 24-hour period here.
I think
So
I
there's
think
probably
number
a 6-hour
3.
nap in between.
Were you eating a lot of mangoes and oysters?
not at that time in my life.
I'm gonna.
Not
I,
like nowadays, where I'll have a mango oyster smoothie, but
I think number 3 isn't true. Which one's
I'm
not
yes.
going
true?
with number 1.
Oh, all right, yeah. Becky's right.
Woo!
Oh, sorry, I forgot what you guessed.
Number 2.
Number 2. All right, yeah.
Like poop.
Yeah, the first two. The first one was I worked at.
You did a good job of spreading us all out on that one.
I spent a summer living in Seymour, Connecticut through a temp agency. I worked at this factory job where I put custom handles onto Swiss Army knives. The metal part would come over from Switzerland, and then we put custom printed plastic handles on them. That was
Like
all I
German
did.
flags instead of Swiss
And
flags.
it just so happens that the company that I work for donated a considerable sum of money to some charity that Michael Bolton was the head of, and once a year he would come and do a meet and greet with all the employees, and I just was a temp worker, and basically got to line up while he went through and just thanked everybody.
Were you real excited? You were probably like,
I did
Bolton?
have to stifle the urge to yell out, ask Michael Bolton if everybody was still crazy, 'cause one of his heavy metal album is called Everybody's Crazy.
So was he like, thanks for the handles, Nate?
His veins were bulging out. Yeah, man. Yeah. And a lot of my female coworkers were disappointed that at that point he'd cut his weird mullet because he had lost almost all of his hair by that point. And yeah, this was in the summer of 1999.
All right.
So there we go.
Is that the day you went home and spanked it 9 times?
Yeah, then I went home and masturbated. By the way, Eric, you are correct that after the 6th time, little if anything is covered. I was basically just
It just goes
blowing
like
air.
That's why I feel like I remember that story is because you said the last few times it was just like.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, just air,
Alligator tears.
and it did hurt. I felt like
it hurt, so it counts.
I had to
Number
try to
7,
reach
8, 9 hurt real bad, so it counts.
I had to reach the peak of my potential. That was-
At what point did you decide you were just going for glory? And
Yeah, that
pleasuring
was.
yourself?
I did like get it in my head. It was a personal best type situation. I think I was 15 or 16.
Did you have a spotter?
No.
One more time. One more.
Yeah. No, I don't know what the Guinness Book of World Records rules are, but no, I didn't have someone to second that. Yeah.
We got time for like one more interview segment thing, and then we got to try to wrap it up.
I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but like Eric, you have like some of the worst luck of anyone. And this is like coming from people that have like lived at a truck stop like in Texas. We haven't even got into the diabetes thing, so
right.
If you want to talk about that too.
Right, I've got diabetes. I just found that out 9 months ago, 10
9
months
months
ago.
Yeah, you got some serious diabetes too. Like what?
Yeah,
like what
like-
kind is it?
Eric used to be pretty heavy. Like when we
Yeah.
first met you were a big boy.
I was like 280 at my worst, I think.
And Eric's how tall are you? Like
5'4",
5'4",
5'5", maybe. Yeah, something like that.
You just started losing weight, right? Is that how you found out?
No,
Mhm.
like I was dieting, and so like
Oh.
I started to lose weight naturally, but then at some point I stopped dieting, and then I kept losing weight, and then it started to fall off fast, and I was drinking a lot of water, peeing a lot, and I was just like, well, I'm just really thirsty. I don't know. I really like water.
When I moved to town, my best friend, he has diabetes.
Yeah, I think he has the
Probably
same kind
about the
as
same
you.
time. Like
Yeah.
my friend, when he moved to town, I was already living out on my own, but he had never lived on his own ever. So he just started. He decided the thing you're supposed to drink is like 3 liters of soda at a time.
Holy shit.
He would go to Kroger.
God.
He came to Kroger and saw that you could actually buy a 3 liter of soda. And he would buy it and drink like 1 or 2 of those every day.
Oh.
His girlfriend ended up making him go to the doctor when he started feeling like shit and was very thirsty every day. And his toilet was covered in ants. And like,
Sugar
so
pea.
he like his pee
Sweet
started like
pea.
corroding the toilet,
Sweet pea.
and they just got all these ants in the bathroom. And they eventually found out that it was because of he's got diabetes now.
Can we have some of your pee? Can we drink some of your pee?
How delicious is
Yeah,
it?
how good is
Because
it?
the ants-
Still delicious now that you have the insulin and everything, or
Actually,
So-
there's a lot less sugar in it now.
okay.
But he was diagnosed with type 1 and type 2, a hybrid of the both.
Right,
Is
type
that
1
what
and a
you
half.
have?
That's what I've got.
Oh, shit.
They call it type 1.5, but I think what it really boils
Hybrid
down
moments.
to is that at any moment they're going to be like, yeah, you're full-fledged type 1. No more beating around the bush. Because I found out recently, my dad found out too, but he's diabetic.
I thought your mom was too.
My mom is type 1, so my dad is now type 2.
How is this
Oh.
a surprise, by the way? I mean, come
Well,
on.
it's
I knew you were
it's a
diabetic
fact
back in
that-
2007. You know.
It's a fact that Hispanics and blacks are 50% more likely to have diabetes. I don't know why that is, but it's true.
Yeah.
Tengo algo que decir. Maté un bebé hoy y no me importa mucho mientras que es muerto. Uno, dos, 1, 2, 3, 4.
My friend would end up in the hospital every now and then because they would give him a prescription or tell him like the pills that he would have to take, because at first he could control it with diet and pills. He didn't have to take shots right at first, but he didn't have enough money to afford the medicine, so he just wouldn't take it, and then would just like end up in the hospital and end up having to take pills and shot.
Well, mine started out where they kind of tried pills at first. They were like, all right, try these, and I came back the next day, my sugar was higher. They're like, all right, fuck that, that's not working. So they were like, all right, you gotta just jump right in and start taking insulin. I started taking insulin like right away, basically.
Were you not supposed to do that?
Well, most people, they try them out on pills, and they try
okay.
diet, but mine was just full-fledged bad shit. I racked up a pretty hefty bill pretty quickly, but the thing is that before I got diagnosed, I already knew I was diabetic because my mom's diabetic, and so she was like, let's test your blood sugar first thing in the morning, and she tested it was like 600 and something. She's like, you should be in the hospital. Like, that's, you're diabetic.
What is like normal?
Normal is like, for someone without diabetes, they can be anywhere between 70 to 100.
Wow.
And that's normal.
And you were 600?
I was 600.
Shit.
I was past the point of coma, basically.
Jesus.
God.
But I felt fine.
Yeah.
But I feel fine.
At that moment. There were times when I didn't. I would be like, oh, I haven't eaten all day. I'm really hungry. Let's go have an all-you-can-eat country buffet.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'd
I
go
remember
home,
those
like, my
days.
feet are sweaty. I need a nap. And I'd sleep for a few hours and wake up. You're like, shit. I kind of had at one point, I was kind of like, yeah, there's something not right. There was one time I played a show at Caledonia, and, like, I felt like shit until I drank some orange juice, and I'm like, I feel great. And I put on the show, and right after the show, I was like, oh, I feel terrible again. And so,
Man, if
I
any
knew
of
at
you
that
bootleggers out there have a copy of the Sugar Shock Caledonia show, like, send it our way.
So yeah, I kind of had an inkling. So I started kind of looking around to see how I was going to find a doctor that would take me, since I don't have insurance and money. I decided to go out to Colbert. They put me on a sliding fee where I pay like a reduced amount every time I go. So I was like, all right, I can handle that. And then of course my parents were good enough to help me out during all that. But I don't know what I'm going to do when Obamacare starts, because I would lose my free ride. Then I'm fucked. So like I also get my insulin provided to me. But the problem is
through the Colbert place?
Yeah, they had a prescription assistance plan where like I filled out all the financial information, and they're like, oh, well, you get free insulin now. I was like, yes, because otherwise, just to give you an idea, I take two types of insulin, basal and bolus, and my basal insulin is my nighttime insulin. It's long term, so that when my food is digesting, it keeps my sugar down. That one for a month's supply is about $280 something. And then my other insulin, which I take more of because I take that before each meal, is about the same. So that roughly translates to almost $600 a month in insulin alone.
Jesus,
and then I've got to buy
Christ.
test strips,
$560.
and I go through about 100 test strips every 2 weeks, and that's $30 worth of test strip. Syringes are like $20 for 100 syringes, and I inject 4 times a day.
So what you're saying is, if you weren't doing this thing in Colbert, you would be too poor to be alive. Like,
Yeah,
pretty
basically.
Much. That's fucked up.
It
That's
kind of
crazy.
boiled down to that, because Colbert, for those of you who know, Colbert is pretty podunk, and like, you know, I'm pretty familiar with that kind of setting. But
I worked at the Dollar General in Colbert before.
oh, really? So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know
Like they
Janet.
don't have their shit together.
Yeah.
So like very recently, I went a month without my nighttime insulin, so my sugar's been really high. It's been like in the 300s because they fucked up and they forgot to tell me, oh, you gotta see the doctor every 3 months or else you don't get your free insulin. And so like I can't go raise a stink because, you know, if I did, then I'd lose my free ride.
Yeah.
So I had to be like really nice about it, come see the doctor, fill out the paperwork again, and like finally got my insulin. But I've gone a month now with my sugar up in the 300s.
Jesus.
So I finally have it under control now. But that kind of gave me a taste of what it'd be like to scrounge around and get the insulin on my own instead of getting it provided to me, and it was pretty fucking scary.
I mean,
I think you've given me incentive to cut down on the old Coca-Cola.
Do you have a plan for the future in case this thing with this Colbert place doesn't work out?
Well, that's the thing. Once the Obamacare kicks in, since everybody has insurance, and one of the stipulations of me getting the free insulin is not having insurance, if I were to suddenly have insurance, I would lose that. And
So,
since
but
it's
would
mandatory,
your insurance cover your medications?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I've been talking to insurance companies, and there's one company that will provide me with insurance, and what I'm looking at is about $200 and something a month, and that's not prescription assistance, that's just basic insurance. And then they haven't even gotten to the part about the copay or any of that yet. Just to set the stage, that's what you can expect. And it's
Dang.
like, I can't afford that.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And I don't know if it's going to change once Obamacare kicks in.
So
or
you don't have to
whatever.
pay anything for the insulin right now?
Right now, I don't pay
Okay.
anything, unless I run out. And
You
then
just
I'm
pay
just
for
like,
the visits, or
Yeah,
you
I
have to
pay
pay
for the
anything when
visits.
you go to Colbert?
I pay for the visit every time I go, and they have to see me every 3 months, or else I won't get free insulin.
Is there like an end point? If you take care of yourself enough, is this going to go away?
I think eventually I'll get Alzheimer's.
Is that like, wait, because
Because
of the
taking
diabetes?
insulin creates some kind of plaque. I just saw this in the waiting room yesterday when I was at the doctor.
That's your exit
It's-
strategy.
Yeah. Like
3 o'clock, time for my
on the little
shot.
medical show that they show in the waiting room, it was a fact. Taking insulin causes plaque in your platelets in your brain and blah 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 and Alzheimer's. I was like, what the fuck? Great.
Jesus.
So I guess eventually I'll move on to Alzheimer's and more serious things. But there's a lot of things happening in the world of diabetes where there's different cures. Every day people are posting stuff on my Facebook. Gila Monster venom apparently helps reduce blood sugar. And I asked my doctor about it, and he was like, yeah, you could take Gila Monster venom, and they have it now to where you just take a shot once a week and it reduces the amount of insulin you take. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. He's like, but it's only in the UK right now. It's not here.
I think we'd have
there's
more
Only
Gila
where
monsters over
exist.
here.
You have to actually
The great
go on
British
wall
Gila
and get
monsters.
bit by a Gila monster.
Then there's also like something going on with like stem cells from healthy pancreas. They inject them into diabetics now. This is still in clinical trials. They've had great success to where people's pancreas have been responding to it. It makes it to where it almost reverses diabetes. They were saying something like every 4 months they go for this treatment, and then like they no longer have to take insulin. They can eat like normal people. There's a lot of things happening.
So that's just
Hopefully-
testing right now? Like it's not...
Yeah, it's still in clinical trials. I mean, hopefully one day I'll be able to take advantage of that. But
I mean,
other
yours
than
is,
that,
you have rare diabetes too.
Yeah.
Like, is this...
Well,
1 and 1/2.
well, they say it's 1.5, but I compare myself to my cousin who's been diabetic since she was like 12, and my mom who's full-fledged type 1 diabetic, has a plug-and-play pancreas, all the bells and whistles, whole nine, like she's as diabetic as they come. I take more insulin than she does, and she has a little bit more freedom in what she eats than I do, but I don't know if that's because I'm newly diagnosed and haven't really gotten the swing of it. I can't drink alcohol at all. I pretty much have to kind of keep a pretty restricted diet.
What can you eat? Are you mostly just produce?
Probably should be, but like, for example, they tell you 2 vegetables for every meat. They give you like a chart of a plate, and
A
they're
meat
like,
and 2?
this much of your plate should be meat, this much of your plate should be vegetables, this much should be carbs. A hamburger is pretty much a perfect meal. It's got some
Yeah.
carbs, it's got vegetables, and it's got
I need
meat.
diabetes, 'cause
Yeah.
that means I can eat
Yeah.
hamburgers all the time.
Yeah, you're really making. You're kind of giving us the
I
sell
love
on this.
cheeseburgers.
It's not the healthiest thing in the world. You know, I try not to eat too many hamburgers.
Yeah.
Fish is great. They tell you to eat fish at least twice a week. So like salmon, wild salmon's good. I like salmon a lot. Salads, of course, are great.
But sushi.
The thing with sushi is it's hard to gauge like how many carbs you're getting, and it's all like
Yeah.
mathematical, and I suck at math. I try to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Keep little formulas. I know exactly how much to inject for a Waffle House meal. And I get eggs and
So you have to like, you
Bacon.
have to shoot up every time you eat.
yeah, every
Oh,
time I
God.
eat, and before I go to bed,
And then
I
take
shoot up.
insulin.
Well, remember when we went to Matt's house, like he has
Yeah,
like...
because he had to shoot up all the time.
Yeah, but he has to take everything to like boost it or to lower it down. But we sat down to eat, and he took his medicine that he had to take before his meal. But then he got in this tirade of like talking and yelling about something. And the girl he married that week actually had to keep telling him like, "You need to quit talking and eat," because he would just
Yeah,
like, keep yelling for like 15 minutes.
and then he
and
got
then
a
he'd
low.
start getting
Yeah.
shaking
That-
because he had
that's happened to
touched
me
his food yet
before.
after the medicine.
I went to a restaurant and I injected for my meal, and they took forever getting the food, and
Oh,
it
no.
took so long that I'm just sitting there sweating and like,
Oh,
oh,
God,
fuck,
yeah.
like I don't feel so good. Oh, what's wrong? I need my fucking food. That's what's
Yeah.
wrong.
Wow.
So that happens sometimes too. But now I've gotten in a habit where like I don't inject until I see the food, so I know I'm okay. Because having a low is like the worst. It
Yeah.
feels terrible.
I think you've definitely helped enlighten people out there, and hopefully,
Yeah.
maybe scared some people straight you know,
Yeah.
when it comes to their eating
So yeah,
habits.
that's what's happened recently to make my life shitty.
Yeah,
but-
I'd say that
in the past
definitely
I've
is a good illustration of how poor you are.
yeah.
And
More
well,
so now that I have
think we're gonna have to
diabetes.
have you back on the show sometime, 'cause there's
Yeah.
still so much more.
Still want to
I
tell us,
didn't even
like-
get into like all the crazy Florida stories Eric has, like, and there's some good ones. But all
Would
right.
you mind coming back again?
Not at
sometime?
all.
All right, awesome.
That'd be great.
All right, but I think that's going to have to wrap it up for this time around. So thank you for tuning in to the Cars Can Be Blue podcast. Bicker is better.
And thank you, Eric, for coming on the show.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
thanks a
thank
lot,
you for
Eric,
having
and
me.
thanks
Yeah.
for being our buddy and for funding our album.
Yeah.
And
you
just for
should
being a
also
generally
go
cool
and
guy.
see the Los Meesfits if you haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, I
They're
mean you'd
great.
have to come
It's a lot of
down
fun.
to Athens, Georgia, probably to
Yeah.
catch them. They play
Or
in
go
Atlanta.
go to the
occasionally.
YouTube channel. You can see them
There you go.
live.
And or yeah,
Yeah.
pull up some videos.
Eventually, we'll be a
The
lot
YouTube
more
channel is just
accessible.
called Los Meesfits.
Yeah.
Yep. pretty cool stuff. So, all right, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you everyone out there for tuning in.
And tune in next time. All right. Bye.
Bye.